Things you might not know about my father. Dad always had a system. As a young man, my dad liked order. Chaos made him crazy. For Dad, everything has to have a place and everything belonged in its place. His motto was, do everything with neatness, alacrity, and dispatch. For example, at 5 years old, Dad taught me how to sort all of his nails and screws into separate coffee cans and pickle jars, all lined up on the shelf by size and shape. Even his pegboard in the wood shop downstairs was painted so that if a tool was missing, you could immediately tell by the dark outline shape what it was and what needed to be returned before there was hell to pay. When he taught me how to paint and stain, something as simple as folding the cheesecloth to get the most use out of it was an example in his obsession in conservation. Dad wasted nothing. I remember him holding up the sticky fabric in front of my face to show me just how to make a perfect square, then wipe the wood in a precise grid pattern. Next, he turned the rag just so. That way, a cleaner part of the cloth was exposed. He did this repeatedly until I got it right. As a child, my greatest reward was to see his perfect Hollywood smile. He was so proud of himself when his children learned what he was trying to teach. Dad loved to make things, as he called it, look factory. His dignity was directly connected to his prodigious ability to make things look perfect. He would spend hours at his drafting table downstairs in our little house in New Hampshire, designing 3D plans and imagining the impossible. His creativity and perfectionism made him strive to make everything better than what you could buy in the store. That was his gift. Dad had vision, and it made him the envy of so many in our small town. His striking good looks, tall and thin, bright blue eyes, Elvis pompadour, coupled with his magnanimous personality, made him easily the center of attention wherever he went. Dad was a natural leader, from being an altar boy all the way to becoming a den father for the Boy Scouts. He was a church committee man and an organizer for the annual fair and the fundraisers. He cared deeply about being a good citizen, and he believed in honor and duty, although his awful asthma kept him from the military. Thank the doctor who prescribed him at age 14 to smoke menthol cigarettes to clear his lungs. He always honored his father's, brothers, and his children's service. Dad was fearless. He could stand up and speak his mind at a community meeting, sing in the church choir, or the town barbershop quartet. He would climb a tree and cut it down, all while still in it. He loved riding his motorcycle and would have spent more time on that if Mom had not made it rain every time he got on the thing. He could take apart and fix anything, from cars to watches to CB radios. In our basement, he played his guitar while Mom made her piano sound like a symphony. Their musicianship and joy of playing together was something his children inherited, apparently, and that love passed on to the grandkids. Dad's home really was his castle. As King Arthur, he created masterpieces with the sole intention to impress his wife, Georgia, who was always his biggest fan. He built a magnificent canoe from his own imagination, a pool enclosure and deck worthy of a spread in Better Homes and Gardens. As his family grew from 2 kids in a trailer on the back of a farm to 4, he added an addition onto the little house that they had bought, yes, in a community that was really called Sherwood Forest. His custom fireplace truly was a work of art. One winter, he even built a camper for our truck in the basement. It was called the Chevy We Go, and it was magnificent, complete with a sleeping berth above the cab. And that was the first time I ever got high, helping my dad breathing in fiberglass fumes in a non-ventilated basement. Mom was not happy. And then she really had a fit when he had to bust a hole in the downstairs wall just to get the damn thing out. Dad was brilliant, but he was also a little bit the nutty professor. He never really gave much thought to consequences when it came to his actions. He could brew beer in the laundry room, grow roses in an inhospitable, humid climate. He could make furniture out of junk, upholster his office door, refurbish a 1952 Jaguar, create designer kitchen cabinets from scrap off other jobs, build geodesic dome homes, or a Ritz-Carlton in a retirement community for the rich and famous. Dad brought the sparkle. I wish everyone had known the dad I knew as a child. The creative trickster, the jokester, the showman, the star. Dad could pull the community together. Once, he got everybody to litter the next door neighbor's house with garbage, so when they got back from summer vacation, they would come home to find tires on their roof, old furniture in their yard, junk on the porch, sheets on, all kinds of stuff hanging on their fence, plus a very big welcome home barbecue picnic. It was a moment to remember. Dad brought life to every party. When all the neighbors showed up to the house for the big Halloween shindig, he would have his arm in a sling with the most spectacular story. Then, throughout the evening, he would switch it to the other arm and then back again just to make the drunk people crazy. Dad made the long hours bearable. Because he drove back and forth from Hooksett to Boston every single day for work, he logged an inordinate amount of time behind the wheel just to feed his family. Leaving early in the morning and getting home late at night, he and Mom used the CB radio to stay in touch. For you kids who don't know what a CB radio is, just imagine a cell phone attached to a toaster by a curly phone cord hooked under the dashboard of your car by a bracket with no camera capability. On the CB, he created an alter ego that became famous throughout all the Northeast region. Ferguson Farquhar's Flying Barn Door and Storm and Sash Company Airlines with your hostess Cecilia Farquhar, the fine girl with the champagne and the TV dinners. Every day, Dad would pass the time on the road, entertaining everybody, listening to Channel 19. They would turn to hear the extemporaneous show through the blizzard or blistering summer heat as the mobile serviceman coming home to his cricket. Dad knew how to show off. Long before the Griswolds, our little house in Sherwood Forest was decorated with tons of Christmas lights and the most magnificent yard art imaginable. Because we were the very first house in the community as you drove in, Dad made our house the crown jewel. He built huge wooden framed Christmas trees, ornaments, Santa and his reindeer on our roof, stars and snowmen. The electric draw for our house from November to January was probably why they had to build a nuclear power plant in Seabrook. But it made him so proud to see the cars lined up down the street just to drive by Paquette's winter wonderland. In conclusion, my dad's life is a cautionary tale to all of his progeny. May we all be more thoughtful, considerate, compassionate, and kind to one another because, as we can clearly see through the beautiful stories of Arthur Walter Paquette Jr., this life can completely crush the spirit of the very best of us and make us so emotionally and mentally ill to the point where our thoughts can transform our personality into someone completely different from what we started off being. I will always admire the stalwart, incontrovertible, indomitable spirit of my father, and to the brave and iron-spined woman that he married. Their devotion to one another, their unwillingness to be parted, even unto the very end, is a testimony to the tenacity of love.